It's week 17 championship week, and we got some injuries at the running back position we got to address. Gus Edwards is going to be out this week, and we're going to be looking at Kimani Vidal, Hassan Haskins, and J.K. Dobbins returns potentially because he's questionable right now. So we might be seeing him back on Saturday. So we're going to talk about this whole backfield, just talk about all the scenarios. That way, Friday afternoon, when the news drops on the injury report or whenever it happens, we can decisively make our move and grab the guy, move around our depth chart, whatever you need to do, or maybe even do nothing when that time comes. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing deep dives every day, all day long throughout the season. We'll do it next year. We go deep on the waiver wire, and we're using the Must Start series to help you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're starting off here with Gus Edwards being out on Saturday against the Patriots. It's going to be a cold game, cold weather matchup. J.K. Dobbins might be back. He's questionable. It sounds like they're looking at him to be back. It's about a 50-50 shot. Usually when you got the Q, it's a 50-50 shot. When you got the D, it's a 25% shot that you play. That being said, we might see J.K. Dobbins. We might get that news here later today. That is something to pay attention to. So J.K. Dobbins, do you have the cojones to fire him up after missing all this time in a matchup that's pretty advantageous against the Patriots? Do you have that? And what does that look like in your lineup? Who are you benching to do that? We want to know in the comments. That's going to help people out. J.K. Dobbins, though, was productive when he was healthy with the Chargers. He was rolling. He was looking good. Kimani Vidal is that young rookie with some pop in his step that looks good on the spreadsheets. We're just waiting for his moment if that's ever going to happen. 5'8", 215. This guy's a bowling ball, but is very explosive. J.K. Dobbins has 4 RB1 weeks on the season, 2 RB2 games. Just steady Eddie. And if he's back to that this week, that could be a huge get to some lineups. A huge addition. If he's back to that, maybe he's sharing the workload. Maybe it's reduced. Maybe he's a percentage of what he is. I'm not making predictions. I'm just throwing it all out there because I don't know yet. I don't even know who's healthy and who's not or who's ready to go. But J.K. Dobbins, 15.1 points per game from weeks 1 through 12 was looking solid. We ain't got much out of Kimani Vidal. If Dobbins can't go, I want to see what he looks like with a much larger workload. I want to know that before I go into 2025, especially for Dynasty Leagues, especially going into the next year's draft and everything else. I want to know this. I want to see him with a bigger workload. I want to see him with some opportunity. I want to know what that looks like. When I'm looking at J.K. Dobbins, I'm seeing a big-time injury list throughout his career. The guy keeps coming back. He keeps coming back. You can't kill him. You can't. He just keeps coming back. He keeps doing well. That's what he does. Kimani Vidal is just interesting in the spreadsheets. That's what he is. Very productive out of Troy, a G5 prospect. Good size and just athleticism. There's a reason why a lot of people like him. He's a very interesting prospect in the spreadsheets. And he's a guy that has popped off a little bit here and there, but not enough workload to really give you enough to make a decision on when you're looking at this backfield. J.K. Dobbins was averaging 4.8 yards per carry. Very elusive, electric. He can really add something to this offense. I think they're looking for him to be back, for him to be questionable right now, and for them to just throw that under the rug on us or on top of the rug. J.K. Dobbins might be back on Saturday. J.K. Dobbins, I'm prepared for that. Kimani Vidal might be the guy you look at, but don't forget about Hassan Haskins. Neither of them are world beaters right now. Neither of them are. But J.K. Dobbins, I'm just wondering if any of you guys have the cojones to start him this week, knowing that we might get a reduced workload. Hassan Haskins, good around the goal line, good size to him, a hardball guy, played with him at Michigan, does have some upside in this offense like any other running back. Hassan Haskins could sneak some workload here. Would not be surprised if that happens. A lot of people on the internet likes Kimani Vidal. We do. There's a lot of upside there. But it could be like a 50-50 split, 60-40 split if it's between them two, Vidal and Haskins. So that's something to look at. You look at his matchup, it's very advantageous. Against the Patriots here, they've only broken 3 running back depth charts when it comes to fantasy scoring. That's the Jets, that's the Bears, and that's the Rams. Outside of that, they're either bending or they're breaking. They'll break pretty hard. These last 2 games, they broke. They broke 3 out of the last 4 games of running backs, 20-plus PPR fantasy points. There's good opportunity in this matchup. So if J.K. Dobbins is feeling good, he's feeling frisky, he could come back and be that league winner. He could do that, but you don't know his workload. You don't know what they're thinking going in. Cold weather game, they may mix it up a little bit more. Or it could be like a Kimani Vidal or Hassan Haskins, or those two splitting it up. Each of them getting like 8-8, 10-10 when it comes to that fantasy point split. So there's nothing guaranteed here when it comes to the workload and production until we get more news. If J.K. Dobbins is healthy, I would expect his workload to be reduced unless they're 100% all in for a purpose. And he's good to go. And if he does, when you're looking at this matchup, it's an okay matchup. I don't know if I'm going to rank him as high as I usually would for J.K. Dobbins with a good matchup, but I think you're going to get a good opportunity out of him, a good chance. I think the other 2 running backs gives you a chance, but it's less likely due to lesser talent. But you don't need them because you're good to go at running back. If you're good to go at running back, I wouldn't play around. I would think about picking one up if your opponent needs a running back. If Kimani Vidal's there, Hassan Haskins there, and you just have space, it's your championship game. You don't have a Week 18 championship game. Just pick one up, just in case. Just in case that manager doesn't slide that guy in and he scores 2 touchdowns or something. Just in case. It's the end of the season. It's not like you need to be stashing handcuffs right now, so maybe you need to be on the defensive a little bit. Maybe that's something you can do right now for your fantasy team. Maybe that's a good look for you. You be on the defense and you pick one of these guys up just in case. You do not expect them to do anything. I'm not really expecting much out of those 2 running backs, but touchdowns got to be scored in this game, and someone's got to do it, and it could be one of them, especially if J.K. Dobbins is out. If J.K. Dobbins is in, I'm looking at him as a dart throw in a lot of my lineup decisions, and I think that's a fair way to look at that because J.K. Dobbins has a lot of upside. He's shown that throughout the season with 4 RB1 weeks. I don't think he's 100% good to go. I think he's going to be hard to trust due to the workload in the offense and how much they might scale him back. But when I'm looking at J.K. Dobbins here, like, it might be a free square at running back for some people, especially in the championship game, who kind of scraped by to get there. I've done it before. I've scraped by with some bad lineups in the championship game. A lot of people don't believe that, hearing about that about people, but it happens. I've had John Kuhn at running back in championship games. It just happens. That's just how it rolls sometimes. And maybe J.K. Dobbins would be a nice delight, giving you something to look at for Saturday. But this is going to be an interesting matchup. Let me know what you're doing with this backfield. News should be rolling out soon. I want to hear about it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.